Hello everybody, I am Oscar and I am going to be reviewing for you all today The Imitation Game, which is directed by a Norwegian director whose name I cannot pronounce, and it stars Benedict, Cumberbatch, Keira, Knightley, Matthew Goode and Mark Strong. And the premise of the film is that English mathematician Alan Turing helps crack the Enigma code during World War II, and he has a team to help him, which includes Matthew Goode and Keira Knightley. Now, my expectations going into The Imitation Game, I wouldn't say they were really high. This wasn't one of my most anticipated films of this year, but I was interested, and the whole just premise of it did seem kind of cool, and I knew nothing about Alan Turing. I knew nothing about the Enigma code cracking during World War II. So I was kind of expecting a pretty good Oscar-worthy film, and I would say that's kind of what I got. I really liked The Imitation Game. First off, Benedict Cumberbatch is fantastic as Alan Turing. I think that he will get nominated for Best Lead Actor, and I think he should get nominated for Best Lead Actor. It is one of the better performances of this year, and I think Cumberbatch was superb in this film. I think he gave a bit of a combination of Sherlock with heart. I'd say Sherlock with human emotions. And the way Cumberbatch portrayed Alan Turing I thought was excellent, and it made him just very interesting. And I think Alan Turing, just as a human being, was a very interesting person, from not just from this film but due to research after the film. Another positive I would say in this film was Keira Knightley. I thought she did excellent in this role. I didn't think her character was written in an extraordinary way, but I think the way she played it made the character a lot less generic and a lot less, the female character in this type of film. She kind of brought a bit more to the character. One performance which I was very surprised at was Matthew Goode. Hey, more like Matthew Great. But in all seriousness, Matthew Goode was very good in this film. I think, the only thing I've seen him in besides from this film was A Single Man, and I think he's a great actor. Just from these two films I've seen him in. I wouldn't mind seeing him being nominated for Best Supporting Actor, because I do think he would deserve it, because he was very good in the film. Mark Strong, as usual, is great. He's Mark Strong. He's going to be great in enough anything. Even if the film is not good, Mark Strong is enough guaranteed to be great. And he's great in this film, as usual, because Mark Strong is a top actor. So overall, I think the acting was very good, even by the actors I didn't mention. Like the members of his team, and especially the kid who played a young Alan Turing. He was so good in the role. I mean, I expect Benedict Cumberbatch to be very good, but the kid did an excellent job at portraying a younger version of the character of Alan Turing. Amazing kid actor, I would say. Great acting by that one. Another positive I have to say for this film was the score, which was by Alexandre Desplat, who I would say might be even with me for Hans Zimmer. It's Hans Zimmer and Alexandre Desplat as my two favourite composers working today. And for those who are not familiar with what Alexandre Desplat has done prior to Imitation Game, he's also composed the later Harry Potter films. He's composed Moonrise Kingdom and the new Godzilla film, and all of his scores, I think, are excellent, and this score is no exception. If this film is going to get nominated for Academy Awards, the Academy Awards that this film should be nominated for is Best Lead Actor Benedict Cumberbatch, Best Original Score by Alexandre Desplat, and Best Costume Design. The costume design was great. I felt like I was in the time period. Another big positive I have to give this film is that this film isn't told in a linear way. We start off in the 50s, then we go back to the 40s, where World War II was happening, and where the story of the film basically is, with Alan Turing trying to crack the Enigma code with other members. And then it also goes back to like the 20s 20s/30s with a young Alan Turing. And it could have been a hit or miss. I think the way that this film was directed and the way that it was written made the non-linear narrative fit very well with this film. I was a fan of the screenplay. Now onto the negatives of the film. Now when I say negatives, I do mean things that other people might find not good with it. For example, this film has problems. It has over-dramatized things. I mean, when Keira Knightley's character is introduced, I'm sure that did not go that way in real life, because this is based on a true story. I'm sure it did not go like the way she was introduced into the story. I'm sure that never happened in real life. That did feel very Hollywood. A lot of the moments did feel like it was literally thrown in there for Oscar bait. That's actually probably the biggest complaint I would have for the film, that it does feel a little bit melodramatic and a little bit trying to make us feel emotions, you know, just trying the hardest and everything like that. And honestly, I would say it has the same problems as films like The Curious Case of Benjamin Button and The King's Speech, like those types of films. I enjoy The Imitation Game because it's an Oscar film. Just think about it this way. It's a film that is definitely made for award season, and it will probably get award recognition. And thus there are cliches that, you know, come with these types of films. I would say if you liked King's Speech or The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, I would say you would like this film. Or War Horse. War Horse is another great example. This film does feel like War Horse in the way that it's got great acting and great soundtrack and great writing. But there are some moments which are like, really? That would never happen in real life. Another positive I have to say about The Imitation Game is that the way that they told Alan Turing's tragic story, because this is a pretty tragic tale, was very, very good. And I did feel like I wanted to look up more about this, because when I watched the film, I was literally thinking to myself, how have I never heard about this? How have I never heard about this story? And it just blew me away, the things that this film told me. And especially at the end of the film where it comes, you know, with the title things, it's like, at this date, this is blah blah, this is what happened to Alan Turing and blah 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 blah. And it kind of just then made me sit in my chair and think, wow, this man, Alan Turing, he is an inspiration. He is a hero. And it's even more mind-blowing in the way that you think to yourself, like, this team who had a pretty huge part in stopping World War II, had a pretty huge part in it. So overall, I really like The Imitation Game, and I highly recommend you guys should check it out, especially if you want to be caught up with award buzz, because this film will get award buzz. And I believe that is about it for this review of The Imitation Game. I would like to thank everyone for watching this video, and links will be down below for Twitter and Facebook to all the Heel Pictures crew. Until next time, guys, I shall see you later, and goodbye.